There is a place, I know not where, the scent of flowers embrace the air. The song of birds delight the ear, it costs but listening to hear. People there are strange, you see, they greet each other with dignity. With warmth and joy this place they share, there is a place, I know not where. Life is different in this place, without threat or fear for any race. For the carnivore it is quite a change, and the food they eat is just as strange. Imagine herbaceous line with a bear. There is a place, I know not where. For police or locks there is no need, this place has no violence, theft, or greed. The utopian dream of a fool you say, perhaps you're right, so I live for the day. When all live without hate or war, neither want or poverty our existence mar. Then we can say with a smile on each face, at last, I know where there is a place. This poem was written by my grandfather. About 5 years ago he passed away, so we went down to Arizona to look through all of his stuff, and through his journals we found this poem. And it wasn't really all together, it was kind of messed up, so my uncle took it and tried to piece it together, and he sang it at his funeral. So when I first heard it, I really wasn't listening to it, I was really focused on my grandfather, so I thought nothing of the poem. So flash forward 5 years from now, I was going through his stuff again, and then at his funeral we passed out pamphlet things or whatever about him, so there was the poem, so I found it, I started reading it, and I really liked it, and I thought it was awesome, and I thought this is really perfect for this project, and I loved my grandfather a lot, so to explain the connection, that's why I chose this poem. So a little about my grandfather. He lived in the Midwest, so he was a big cowboy. He loved all the old Western movies, that whole thing, which probably explains why I love country music and cowboy boots and all that stuff. When I was little, I really looked up to him. He fought in the war, he got a Purple Heart, and I just thought he was literally the coolest thing in the world. I was young when he passed away, so obviously I saw no flaws in him. I really thought he was perfect, like a hero to me, and I loved him a lot. So, back to the poem, it's just so peaceful, and, he says, it's what he calls it, it's a utopian dream, only a fool would think any of this is ever possible, but I feel deep down inside, we all want that perfect life. We all think about, is it real? Is it possible? Some people believe it's heaven, or, wherever we go when we die, this place where there's no sadness, there's no war, there's nothing. It's just peaceful, and it's perfect, and everything you can imagine, birds chirping, that whole scene. What really strikes me is in the last stanza when he's talking about there's no need for a police or locks, there's no violence, there's no greed, there's nothing, there's no poverty. And my grandfather was born in the 20s, so he faced the poverty, racism, segregation, he went through it all, literally, and it's just amazing thinking, seeing, for him, as the days go on, things got better, and, with him getting his freedoms and things like that, but, he literally watched his kids, go through the desegregation process, and, all 6 of them being split up in different schools and busings, to start, desegregation, and, the things that, they must have had to have faced back then, and the awful things people must have said, and, all that crazy things, and, my grandfather was really bold, and he was really into breaking stereotypes and not listening to what anyone says, and, it was really funny because he had lived after, he divorced my grandmother, he moved into, an all-white neighborhood, and here he is living with this white woman and her daughter with 5 black kids, and boy were they the talk of the town. People thought oh my goodness gracious, they're breaking all these social norms, what are we gonna do? But he was just that kind of person that everyone had respect for, and you just didn't mess with him, and you didn't mess with his family. So yeah, I don't really know what he was thinking when he wrote the poem, what time he wrote it. Could have been in his teenage years, could have been when he was raising my mom, or it could have been, 5 years before his death. Who knows? But I'm really glad that I found the poem, and I hope that right now as we speak, he's living his utopian dream and that he's happy right now. Love you, Grandpa. There is a place, I know not where, the scent of flowers embrace the air. The song of birds delight the ear, it costs but listening to hear. People there are strange, you see, they greet each other with dignity. With warmth and joy this place they share, there's a place, I know not where. Life is different in this place, without threat or fear for any race. For the carnivore it is quite a change, and the food they eat is just as strange. Imagine herbaceous line with a bear. There's a place, I know not where. For police or locks there is no need, this place has no violence, theft, or greed. Utopian dream of a fool you say, perhaps you're right, say I live for the day. When all live without hate or war, neither want or poverty our existence mar. Then we can save the smile on each face, at last, I know where there is a place.